hit record. Okay, so I'm so excited about this call. We have Amy KOSMALSKI on here, and just so pumped. We planned this, 3 weeks ago, Amy, to get into your schedule. So thank you for taking time out. So I just have some questions that I want to run through with you, because I really want you to take your mind back to, that day that you paid $34.95 and decided to build your business. The one thing that I want to start with is the law of the lid, and we talked about it last night a little bit. And John Maxwell says you come in at a number, and you're not going to attract anyone above that number until you get your personal development together. But so when you go back to that day that you clicked $34.95, where do you think your level of leadership was at that time?
Could it be a negative? I had never done network marketing before. And my only experience in corporate America was managing people. So that's really what I came in thinking, like, I got to manage people. I got to tell them what to do. I got to tell them how to do it. Failed miserably at that. And I didn't intend on having a business. Like, let me start there. When I clicked join, I was really, I had been skeptical for 3 months, and Candy Mernan is my sponsor. And I finally decided, okay, I'm going to try these products. I'm just going to give it a go. I've tried everything else. Why not? And she knew my personality. She knew, and that is key, guys. Knowing the people that you're friends with, that you're attracting, is key. She knew that, one, we were struggling for money. So telling me to join versus just ordering was the best way for me financially. She had me there, right? Check. Okay, I'm going to join for wholesale. But then she also knew if she gave me little nuggets and told me little challenges, that I was going to be like, okay, game accepted. And so what she had said to me in my first week was, you've already signed a couple people. I don't know anybody who's ever gone fast start gold. And that's signing 20 people in your first 30 days. I thought, oh, okay, well, I can do this. And I did it out of a challenge. It wasn't like, oh, let me grow this business. Let me make XYZ amount of money out of it. It was solely because she told me that she didn't know anybody who had done it. So I was out to prove a point that I could do it. Sure enough, at like 11:59 p.m. on the 30th day, I signed Rick. Totally counts, by the way. And I got my fast start gold. So, my leadership was, I really don't even think I was a 1. Like, I'm being honest. I don't think that I had any type of leadership inside of me. What I did have was passion. What I did have was enthusiasm. What I did have was excitement. What I did have was a marketing background. What I did have was a love for my kids and my family, and wanted to make a difference in this world. And so I had vision. But leadership is something that I absolutely did not have. I'll tell you honestly, I probably failed forward to Emerald I made it there in 6 months, but I probably did that without any type of leadership. I might have been maybe a level 1 or 2 at that point.
Okay. So when you, obviously, because 6 months is pretty quick, right? And so, you were moving forward, you were taking those challenges and conquering them. And so now you have people, that are following you, right?
Yeah.
So at that point, in the beginning, what did you turn around and communicate to them? What was your message in the beginning?
Yeah, I think an important part of my journey to explain to those that don't know this piece of my journey is my very first month, besides going fast start gold, I had, at the time, the highest PV the company had ever seen. I had a very, very high PV. What I did not have was customer relationship skills at all. I was kind of like, ooh, preferred customer, that's $18. That's money. I'm going to pretend I'm going to sit over here and I'm going to pretend that I forgot about them. And I am going to forget about them, because if I remind them that they're on these products, they might cancel. What in the world were they thinking, right? I mean, seriously, this was my thought. Here's why. I didn't know the products. I didn't know if they worked. I was telling people to get on. Back then, we didn't even have the triplex. Everybody was doing Slim and Accelerator. You know, that's what I was on. So that's what everybody else should be on. I wasn't qualifying people. So I really honestly had zero relationship, people management skill going on at all. I think at the base of everything, what I did have and what was attracting people to me was my enthusiasm and my vulnerability. From day one, I shared. I didn't wait until I lost 5 pounds. I didn't wait until I got into a certain size. I decided, you know what? It's kind of like, you know, look at how successful Weight Watchers is, right? Why is that company so successful? All it is a bunch of meetings, right? People are paying money for somebody else to weigh them. Think about this. But why is it so successful? I mean, I'll give you my scale. You can pay me the $100 a month or whatever it is. I'll weigh you in. I'll clap for you. I mean, but it's successful because people need to be held accountable. People want to be held accountable. People want to go on a journey with you, alongside of you, not behind you. That's the key. I hear so many people say, well, when I lose 15 pounds, when I lose 20 pounds, here's the thing that I knew. I knew that I myself, if I was following a leader, now Candy doesn't count because she was like a size 0 to start with. And I, for those of you that don't know, was like a size 20 or 22. I knew if I was following someone that was showing up some big loss on the scale, I would be going, well, that can't happen to me. There's no way I could have that kind of success, right? I would have been kicking myself down before I ever even started. So I knew that I had to get people going from the very beginning before I ever even had big results. And so that's what I did. And as I was going, obviously having results, I was pulling people along with me, but it was my enthusiasm, my vulnerability, my willing to share the size that I was. And guys, it's not just about, you know, weight loss, obviously. It's anything. It's feeling better. It's fitting better in a seat on the airplane. It's being more comfortable in the rides when you go with your kids or your grandkids. You know, anything that you can share, your energy level, you're sleeping better, anything that you can share, just share. Be vulnerable. And you guys are so, so lucky to have Katie, who is amazingly vulnerable. She's an incredible marketer. You know, marketing has always been one of my biggest strengths in this business. And I think that if you start out really being vulnerable, if you start out really knowing how to market yourself and the products, and let me be clear, I didn't know anything about the products. You know, I was probably maybe an emerald or a sapphire before I really started to get to know the products. I could tell you maybe 1 or 2 things about them. I could look it up for you, but I didn't have a knowledge. Why? Because that wasn't important to me. So yeah, so there's that. That was long-winded, but.
No, that's good. That's good. So basically I'm assuming, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, when you got to Emerald, you're like, okay, wow, I have, you know, this team.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I have to figure out how to cast the vision, right?
Absolutely.
So if that was the point when you were casting the vision, like, what did you do at that point? Like, when you realized, okay, here I am, and it's my job to inspire and cast the vision. What did you do?
You know, when I hit Emerald, that's when I really started reading personal development books. And that's when I really started watching YouTube videos, Sonia Dudley, Sarah Marble, anybody that I could get my hands on, John Maxwell, Eric Worre, you know, the list goes on and on, Sarah Robbins. I basically immersed myself in personal growth and development because I knew that if I was going to have people follow me, just like John Maxwell said. I needed to lift myself up because I was at the bottom. You know, I'm not going to be bringing in people that were going to lift up my business unless I was lifting myself up first. And I was very much aware of that without ever reading that book. Didn't know it was the law of the lid, but I just knew that I wasn't going to be attracting people like, say, yourself, who successful in business, successful in life, successful with nonprofits. I wasn't going to be, you know, successfully pulling people like you in unless I was there myself. So I really needed to improve upon myself first. Once I did that, then I was really able to start showing what the business can do. Look at how much I've changed, not just outward appearance, right? But people could see the changes that I had made in my life, in what I was doing. And I was able to also grab a hold of people and show them the way at that point, because I knew the way at that point. I not only knew how to tell people to do it, but I knew how to do it myself, right? I have never expected of my people anything less than what I have been willing to do myself. So I've always been adding 3 a month, like consistently since day one. And I think that that is really key, casting that vision of sign 3, get 3 more, sign 3, get 3 more, and showing people how to do that, what that looks like, how it affects your organization, how to go about finding your 3, how to attract those 3. You know, I think that at the point of Emerald, that's when I would say one of the very first books that I read outside of Eric Worre. So I read Eric Worre right off the start in the beginning, because everyone had just come off of Leaders Retreat. And they were talking about this Eric Worre GoPro challenge. So I read that GoPro. I literally put everything to the side. I didn't do the laundry. I didn't do the dishes. I said, Rick, you've got to take this. That was like my first, 60, 90 days. I went fast and hard. I gave it all I had. I wasn't sleeping. Outside of that book, one of the ones that made the biggest impact for me for leading people was the 4 Colors of Network Marketing Personalities by Big Al. And the reason that I talk about that one so much, it's not about knowing who I am. It's not about knowing that I am a blue personality who loves life, loves the party, loves the Lexus, and I'm also a red who's all about organization, leadership, and money. It's about knowing who I'm attracting and casting that on to the people that I'm bringing into the organization. You have to know who it is that you're trying to attract, because here's what I know. If I'm trying to attract a hospice nurse, I know that the hospice nurse is my friend Sheila over there. I know she's probably a yellow, because she cares about people. She loves on people. She nurtures people. She probably, when she goes to a party, is going to seek out the person sitting alone and go sit with them so they have someone to sit with. That's what I know about Sheila, and we haven't even met, right? So I would venture to say that Sheila is yellow. Now, she may have other colors. A lot of us do. But knowing that she's a caring, nurturing person, I'm probably not going to try to attract her into my business by talking about the parties and the Lexus and, oh, and you're going to get to dress up fancy and you're going to get to do this. Oh, and we could go shopping for Louis Vuittons and we could do our hair and we could get our nails done every week. Because Sheila's probably like, I'm out. Like, that doesn't interest me, right? Now, it may eventually interest her. But for right now, it's not relatable to her and where she is in her life at this point in time. And that's what's important. When you're casting vision, when you're showing people the way, you need to be attracting them in ways that they are going to be attracted to the business. I can tell you this right now. Like I said, I am probably the one diamond who knows the least about the products in all of the diamonds. And I'm okay with that. But I can tell you right now, I know where to find the information. I know how to help people. I know the people that do know the information, right? But had Candy come to me from the very beginning and said to me, oh, Amy, you're going to love these products. Let me tell you, the Slim has chromium in it. And I would love to describe to you the effects of chromium on your body, not just short term, but long term. I would have been like, have a nice day, Candy. Good to talk to you. Right? I would have been like, I don't care about chromium. Like, honestly, I didn't even care if it had rat poison in it. Is it going to make me thinner? That's all I cared about. Is it going to make me thinner? And when she's posting all about these parties and having a good time, I'm in. That's all I needed. So really casting a vision is knowing your audience. It is. It's knowing your audience. For the people that need the information, you give it to them. You give them those shareables. You send them to them all day long. Don't send it to me because I'm out. I would never join you. That's casting the vision. Knowing your people.
Okay. So back up a little bit, okay? So before you became Emerald, right? Like your team had to be working. They were working with you, right? So how do you think that happened? You know, because like we all know that we can't get to Emerald alone.
Right.
So what do you think happened maybe in the first 3 months that started the momentum?
Yeah.
You know, that compounded to bring everyone up?
Culture. We created an incredible culture from the very beginning. We created a culture of acceptance and helping one another and building each other up. And let me tell you, you know what? As women, we tear each other down. We tear ourselves down so much on a daily basis that when you're a part of a group, it doesn't matter if you're not making money yet or not. If you feel accepted and loved and you feel a part of something greater than who you are and what you are right now in this moment in time, you're bought in. You know, you're bought in. Diane, do you want to say something?
I just have a question. So
Yeah.
when you say we, who were you working closely with in the beginning?
So my first ambassador would have been Maria Oliveri. She has a child with Down syndrome. We only knew each other through the Down syndrome community. We weren't, best friends. That's another important thing to tell you guys. I don't have any of my best friends.
Right.
I don't have any of my husband's siblings. I don't have cousins or, I don't really have anybody close to me that's doing Plexus. So people that I do have as my level ones are people that I have met since joining Plexus, or random people in the Down syndrome community, random people from high school, a couple people from college. You're not talking best friends that I have on this journey, but Maria was one of them, and Maria's still around. Christine Savicki was one of my first.
Okay.
Gina Stetcher Wilbur. She probably joined in like January, February. I had joined in October. And there were some people that are around still, but that you probably don't know because they're sitting at silver and they're happy with that. They're earning an extra $500-$600 a month and they're happy with that. Guys, that's the key. If you can get somebody bought into silver, they're making a couple extra $500-$600 a month, that person is going to stick. And this is what I was talking about last night on the call is we have such a huge turnover rate because we are just selling the wholesale dream. Hey, come to us, Costco pricing right here. Don't worry. You don't have to have your account set to resend you anything next month. That doesn't matter. I'm just going to give you my discount just because I feel nice today. When we're doing that, we're discounting ourselves and our business so hugely. But the culture that we created from the very beginning, and I always say we, because it's not me. I may have been the one to click join first, but it was we. It's our team. I never say my team. If you catch me say my, it's a slip up. I don't like that. Not that others don't say it, but I think that it's our team. It's something that we have created together. But we supported one another. We had Code Pink. We had something called Code Pink. If you put something out on your page, we had chats going on. And if somebody ditched what you were saying or, naysayed what you were saying or questioned what you were saying, we'd come into a chat and say, Code Pink, personal wall, such and such post. And guess what? Within a matter of minutes, 5, 10 Plexus people were backing you up with your Code Pink. But the chats were really, and this is why we posted in Gold Diggers today or yesterday, whenever I posted it, asking for who needs accountability partners. We're going to start putting chats together again. 10, 15 people in a chat together. The whole point of that is going to be able to back each other up, to be able to get past these Facebook algorithms, you know, because we know that 3 or more people commenting on a post makes other people see it, right? Like if you look at the post that I did today, it has gone viral. I have had like over 100 people comment on that thing. And so I'm getting comments and messages from people that I haven't seen on my page in 2 years, you know, on my personal wall. It's because there are so many people commenting that it's showing up on everybody's news feeds. So it's really about getting your stuff together enough as a teammate to be there for one another. That's huge. And I'm going to tell you right now, the people that are most successful in the beginning, they were commenting on everything. Like, cheers to Pink Drink Friday. Yep, here's my picture. Cheers, man. You know, I mean, back then we had, good Lord, we had Pink Drink Friday. We had something about Tell Me About It Tuesday. We had Weigh-In Wednesday. We had Testimony Thursday. We had something else on Monday. I mean, we had a theme for every day of the week. Mm-hmm. Do I think it was the right thing to do? I mean, it worked, right?
Yeah, but like, it keeps people plugged in, you know, keeps people.
Right. You keep people plugged in. They're like, you know, but at the same time, you know, it's a different time now. You know, I don't know about you, but I'm in like 767 LuLaRoe groups. You know, then I'm in 425 unique groups. I mean, everybody's got me in their groups. Everybody's posting all the time. Like, it gets to a point where people are like, okay, enough of the Pink Drink. You know, Pink Drink Friday is great. Like, I love that. You know, hey, cheers. And you get everybody to cheers with you. Fantastic. You know, like, it's just another reminder out there that's not as vulnerable. But I honestly think culture is the answer to that. We just created an incredible culture. People, for whatever reason, trusted what I was doing, even though I had no idea what I was doing. I think I was very smart at marketing. So they trusted that and believed in that. And I think, you know, Katie's amazing at marketing. But yeah, I would have to say culture from the beginning. That's awesome. That's what helped, you know, culture.
Yeah. Okay. So that might be part of this next question. So obviously when you got the momentum going, you know, through your culture, there had to be a point in your business where things felt like they came to kind of a stall, right? Like, felt like maybe things weren't moving as quickly as they were in the beginning.
Yeah.
So what did you do? What did your team do to overcome that?
Yeah, I mean, as I kind of talked about in the call last night, so we had this new back office, which promise you, this next back office is not going to go anything like what I'm about to describe to you, because we hired.
Printed my stuff out, by the way.
Good. No, it's just good to have for the next couple of days, because you never know. Well, not yet, but yeah. So we hired this company. I'm still not so sure that they weren't in bed with another company that was trying to take us down, but that's a whole nother story. But literally, let's see, I had just gone diamond. Our momentum was insane. I mean, we were unstoppable. We were on that train that was busting through walls. It was incredible. Like, people had caught fire. Then the back office came. That looked like 7 to 8 hour hold times for customer service. 7 to 8 hours. You heard me right. 90 to 120 day delay in shipping. Major issues. People stopped, you know, they stopped. Our momentum was done. And this is obviously a very exaggerated form. I mean, if that's true, it really did happen like that. I'm not exaggerating that. but it's a very exaggerated form. I wish I was exaggerating that. It's a very exaggerated form of things that can happen in our business, right? You sign 10 people this month, you look around next month, only 2 are active. You've got a choice. You can either go, I got to keep moving. I can't worry about those 8 people and what they're doing behind me. They don't want it bad enough. Bye. Maybe they'll catch on. You know, I always say you've got to love people where they're at. And as all of that was happening, people had a choice. They could either choose to stick with it and overcome, or they could stop and they could quit and they could say, you know what, this is too much. I can't handle this. But here's what I know. There were people joining during that point in time that rose to diamond in 6 to 8 months, during not getting their products for 60 to 90 days, during stuff getting lost in the mail, no tracking, you think of a problem and it happened back then, but people were still rising to diamond. Why? Because they believed that they could, and they believed the people that they brought with them could, so they created a culture of belief. They cast the vision. It's okay, guys, we're going to get through this. They talk them through it. They encourage them. You know what? Yeah, this is short term. This is only going to live a little time. Now, it lasted like 6 months. But it stopped my business so much so that I went backwards. I lost diamond. And it was because no one had momentum at that point. Everyone had felt defeated, and they felt deflated, and they felt like, well, Plexus can't even help me out. They can't even get the products to my people. Like, how can I sell these products? And rightfully so, right? But if you think of it in your own terms of, oh, so-and-so told me no, like, you can let it get in your head. You can let every single day get in your head if you choose to. When all that happened, I chose to not let it get in my way. I chose to not allow people to set up excuses. I chose to get on the phone for them and wait the 7 to 8 hours for them. It's about customer service. It's about relationships. It's about keeping people's belief high. It's about keeping them bought in with you. What are you doing with them, for them? And so when you have momentum and it stops, it's like being on a bicycle and trying to get up that hill, right? You can't do it. You can't go straight up a hill on a bicycle if you're just starting out at the bottom. It's near impossible. I mean, at least I can't. I'm not going to speak for anybody else on this call. I cannot get the bicycle up top of the hill. I'd have to be having that thing going like 15 miles an hour for like a straight up mile before I hit the hill to be able to go up it, right? And so it's just like the train that John Maxwell talked about. You have got to have momentum going into problems, because here's what I know. This business has problems. But what business doesn't, right? Life has problems. Life has no's. This business has no's. If you're going to take a no and just roll over, your business is done. It's done. So as a leader, you have got to build the belief, which is going to help build the momentum. And once you get momentum going, don't ever let it stop. Don't let people stop. You've got to keep it going. And the way to keep that going is building their belief, pouring into them, pouring into personal growth and development, doing Zoom calls. These are great. Anytime you can connect people to where they are feeling connected, it's huge, huge.
And if we could go back to income producing activities, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like that sits next to momentum.
Mm-hmm.
So when you talk about income producing activities, what does that look like? What is your expectation of yourself, every day?
That's a great question. I think in the beginning I didn't know. And right. I think it's okay. I really want everyone on this call to know whatever level you come in at, wherever you are, it's okay, right? We all only have one place to go, and that's up. That's including me. I'm a diamond, and I still have nowhere near the knowledge that I need in this business. I don't. But taking what you know today and applying that, for me, at the point in time when I was first growing my business, it was really just about being relentless in reaching out to people. You know, not taking a no, you know, because no really just means not right now. So if somebody says no to me and Plexus offers an incentive next month, you best believe next month I'm sending them that incentive. And I'm saying, hey, I know in October when we chatted, you said you weren't interested, but look, I know things change all the time for me. I wouldn't want to miss out on this opportunity, so I wanted to share it with you since you're my friend. What I do know is it takes an average of 10 to 12, sorry guys, my back is killing me, so I have to shift. It takes an average of 10 to 12 points of contact in order for people to jump on the sale, right? So if you're messaging somebody once and they say no and you're like, okay, thanks, and you don't ever message them again, you have lost that opportunity. You have lost that sale. You have lost that person joining you. You have got to be relentless in sharing. You really do. Because no never means no. It just means not right now. But as far as income producing activities, as I started to grow, what do they look like now? And what do they look like probably consistently since I have been, I don't know, probably a Ruby or a senior Ruby. Every single day I wake up and I do not look at my phone on Facebook and just scroll aimlessly. Seriously. That is a time sucker. Like, because you're like, oh, look, oh, she got a puppy. Oh, that's cute. It impacts you none, zero. Like, they can't help your business other than personally connecting with them, which you could do later. But my income producing activities, a little bit different now as a diamond, but when I was growing my business, it was reaching out to as many people as I could that day. So I always went by the rule of thumb of 5, 3, 1. So 5 is reaching out to 5 new people, 3 is following up with 3, and 1 is educating or coaching 1 person a day. If you don't have anybody on your team to educate or coach, you spend that time on yourself. What I knew from the very beginning, though, is this is a numbers game. And if I'm only reaching out to 5, 3, 1, I'm in all kinds of trouble. I'm barely moving forward. And I wanted to sprint. I wanted to run. I wanted to get there so fast that I was like, I didn't even remember the journey, right? So I was reaching out to 20, 25, 30, 35 people a day. I had so many people going on my Franks list. That's friends, relatives, acquaintances, neighbors, kids, and service organizations. I was adding to that list every single day. New people I met, new people I thought of, my in-laws, neighbors, you know, the guy that used to clean up at the whatever, like seriously, like everybody I've ever came in contact with, they go on my Franks list. So keeping an ongoing Franks list was huge, but income producing activities, 5, 3, 1. So I always start that. Let me say, we get so hurried to respond to people when they message us that we seem like we are desperate. Don't do that. Like, well, when can you meet? Well, right now is good. I'm free right now. You know what? I'm free all day. I'm free tomorrow. I'm going to be free next week. Whatever works for you.
I'm guilty.
I am free. Here's what that does. 1, if that person ends up joining your team, they have an expectation that you are free all the time. They can message you at midnight and you are going to respond. You guys, you do not ever want to create that culture. Then if they're going to join you, remember the whole thing last night about losers aren't, you know, losers attract losers, you know, nobody wants to join a losing team. If I have all that time available, people are like, well, what in the world is she doing with her day if she doesn't have anything going on? But if I were to say to you, if you message me and I say, hey, you know what? Can't chat right now, but my calendar's clear around 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Does that work for you? They're not going to go anywhere. They're not going to go anywhere. You know, you've got to make yourself run like a business. You have to. So when you're doing your income producing activities, Don't allow distractions and people messaging you to squirrel you and to take you off from what you're doing. Have your DMO every single night. I write my DMO. That's my daily method of operation. I put on there what I need to accomplish. Let me tell you another little life hack I have. Let's say I'm messaging with somebody. And I usually always say, hey, I'm going to follow back up with you on Thursday then, like say noon. Does that work for you? If for some reason the conversation has turned awkward, which sometimes it does, and you don't feel comfortable asking that request, I personally take a screenshot of it, of the conversation that I had, and I have a folder, and it's my follow-up folder. I also, on my calendar, will put, okay, so on Thursday, if I was messaging somebody today, on Thursday by 6 o'clock, I'm going to follow up with my neighbor, Tanisha, who lives across the street, whose friend is bathing her kids in bleach to get rid of their eczema. Right? Like, that really did happen. So I'm going to follow up with her on Thursday, so it's on my calendar. You got to figure out a life hack that's going to work for you. But when you're doing your income-producing activities, it's all about following up with people. It's all about reaching out to new people. It's all about personal growth and development for yourself, for your team. For me now, as a leader, as a diamond, it looks more like pouring into other people, but I still need to be doing my own income-producing activities every single day. I still need to be reaching out to people and sharing the products that we have, because here's what I know. If I'm not sharing them, one of you guys are going to, and I'm going to lose that person. Right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
absolutely. And I just want you to know that my teacher is listening to you right now. He loves listening to Amy.
I love it. Hi. So seriously, income producing activities is really anything that is going to bring money into your business. After you get that done, then I always go into birthdays. And let me tell you, when I'm wishing somebody a happy birthday, it is never on their wall. It is always on an inbox. Why? Because it gives more opportunity for them to come back and question you about Plexus. I then go into messaging people right on their wall. Oh, cute puppy, cute whatever. And the other thing that I do that I consider income producing, because it works very well for me, is I go through my friends list on a weekly, if not bi-weekly basis, on Sundays usually, and I pick out 10 to 15 people that I'm going to intentionally try to attract to my business that week. So whether it be to me intentionally going onto their wall, commenting onto their posts, things like that. If they're a chicken lister, look, let's be honest. It's easy for me to sit back and say, hey guys, just message them. What do you have to lose, right? But I remember that was not me in the beginning, and that's okay. But you have to be doing something to intentionally attract them. Just dangling the carrot out on your Facebook wall is not going to do it. You're not going to be attracting a lot of those people that you're wanting into your business. Just like John Maxwell said, they're busy. They're too busy doing their own thing. They're not caring about what you have going on your Facebook wall. So you have to be intentionally attracting them somehow. And what I know is if I'm commenting on their stuff, they're then going to be interested, and my stuff is going to be showing up in their feed. So then they're going to be interested in what's happening in my life, is if I'm personally attracted and invested in what's happening in theirs.
Yeah, I love that. That's all good stuff. And so if you were to pick, one thing that, kind of a key component that really has helped you as a leader, what would that be? Something that we could take from and maybe instill in ourselves.
I think for me, I think everybody's different, but I think for me, it's been all about the enthusiasm and the excitement for the products and the opportunity, and never stop sharing it with that enthusiasm and excitement. And I'll tell you, in times in my life when life got difficult, when we had Brindley and she was having challenges in the hospital, and this summer when we were having challenges, and I felt so emotionally drained myself that I couldn't put forward that excitement and that energy, my business felt it. I felt it. So for me, it was about being true to me and being enthusiastic and energetic about the products. that was really, really key for me. I think beyond that, I think if I were to pick two more things, I usually like to give like a top three. So I would say enthusiasm. I would say consistency. You've got to be consistent with the products, sharing the opportunity, sharing the business, consistent with signing.
Oh, nice.
Expecting the same thing out of,
Hold on 1 second, Amy. Hold on 1 second. Hey, Ronette. Can you hit mute?
Katie, go down to participants and hit mute all.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll just unmute myself.
Okay, here. Mute all. There we go. Mute all.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Perfect.
So I think consistency is huge. If we are not being consistent with the products, we're not going to feel any different. So we're not going to be sharing what's happening with our bodies and our world and how we're changing. If you're not consistent with sharing, you're not attracting anyone into your business. And if you're not consistently signing people, then your business isn't growing. So consistency, I would say, is number 2. And then number 3, I would say never give up. I think that has really been the biggest thing for me. When I look back at my business, and I lost a lot of people in the beginning when I shared with you that I failed miserably. And at that moment in time, I could have very well said, well, I guess this isn't for me. I'm not so good at this. I'm not really good at relationships. I'm not really good at network marketing. This just isn't my gig. And I had lost a significant amount of money in my paycheck. I could have just been like, whatever. But I never gave up, and I think that if you look at any diamond, any jewel, they've probably been knocked down and told no a gazillion times over. But the difference between them and you is that they just keep getting back up. That's the only difference between a jewel and somebody that's not a jewel yet. You either haven't been told no enough yet, you haven't been knocked on your butt enough yet, or you just haven't kept going. You let it get to you, mindset wise. I think that mindset is key. Gosh, I didn't even go into mindset. I didn't even go into why, but you guys have probably heard that 100 times too.
Yeah. Right.
But mindset.
Well, if you had to go back to your, if you had to go back to where kind of our team is, right? What would you tell yourself now? Yourself at kind of where we're at right now.
So where are we at? Everybody's sitting on the call silver-ish?
Yes, silver, gold, and ruby. Yeah.
Well, I went from silver to gold pretty quickly, but I lost it pretty quickly too. If I were to go back to my silver self, I would tell myself to invest in personal growth and development, 30 minutes a day. Like, start learning and growing now before you get to the point of, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. If you don't have 30 minutes, do 10. If you don't have 10 minutes, give 5. Like, do personal growth and development, watch a video, listen to a podcast, something every single day. I think the other thing that I would tell myself is to invest in my people more. I was very good at investing in my teammates, but I wasn't as good at investing in my customers because I didn't understand that a customer is going to become an ambassador. Nobody told me that, right? We didn't know. We didn't have this fancy back office and all these shareables and all these things that tell us these things. Rank up roadmap, what's that? We didn't have any of these things. So I think I would go back and tell myself to be more connected, to be more consistent and organized in how I reached out to people and more effective in that. But really, at the end of the day, Katie, I think, knowing your people is key. Knowing what's going to keep them, attract them, keep them happy is huge. I think, knowing your people and the relationships is, people will stay if they feel happy. That's with any business, you know? And so once you do that, if you've got people that are willing to stay, they're going to be willing to work once you're raising your lid. Once you're raising it, they're going to want to raise with you. So if you're investing in the relationship and you're there for them and you're doing it together and you're being partners about it and it's a we versus a me mentality, I'm huge on that. You know, because here's the thing, like if you're posting and you're putting something out there and you're saying, hey, who wants to join my team? Me, this, like people are like, you know, people feel like they have to be a part of your organization, right? Of your, whatever you have going on. But if you just change that word to our, hey, oh my gosh, our team is doing amazing things. Our team is having so much fun. We're helping out the community. We just did this amazing 5K for breast cancer. Our team is doing amazing things. Who wants to join us? Mm-hmm. People want to join us. A lot of times they don't want to join me, right? People aren't going to, what did John Maxwell say? If I don't like you, I'm not going to join you. And here's the thing. Here's the thing that I know. As you're growing your business, you're going to think like, oh, I'm one step from Lexus. I am amazing. You're putting yourself out there. You're going to the Lexus dealership. You are smelling the leather. Here's what you just created. A whole bunch of haters. You did. You created a whole bunch of haters. Now, I'm not telling you not to do it because there's still people that are following you that want to get in that Lexus with you, right? But you have to think of what you're putting out there. You have got to attract people in a way that makes them want to join us, right? They want to join us. It's not just, look at me, I'm test driving my Lexus because this is mine and I'm going to look so pretty in my Lexus. No, you're saying, guys, isn't this amazing? Look at what our team accomplished. I'm getting in this fancy Lexus. I've never seen a car with so many buttons and this fancy leather, and it has air-conditioned seats. Man, I want all my friends to have air-conditioned seats. This is so fun. Who wants to come test drive this with me, right? I have now taken something where I could have pissed people off, and I've turned it into a positive because I'm saying, hey, come on, let's do this together. You know you want some fancy leather seats underneath your butt too. You know, you live in Chicago. You know you want some heated leather. You don't want to have to sit down. Oh, and it has an automatic remote start. I don't even have to go out in the snow to start this thing. Yo, we need to do this together. Come on, right? You have changed something where people could have been totally pissed off at you to, oh, wow, Katie and her team are doing this. They're doing this amazing thing together. So really at the end of the day, relationships are everything, and realizing how you're positioning yourself. And let me tell you, we're all going to fail at it. I'm telling you, you're going to fail. You're going to fail miserably. You're going to fall on your face. Your sponsor is going to have told you, just like I told Katie, I told you so, but you're going to do it anyway because that's what you do, because that's how you learn. And then you're going to come back and you're going to go, crap, now I need to eat crow, and go, you were right. And then your sponsor goes, I know, I told you so. But you're going to fail, and it's okay. It's how you get up and respond to that makes all the difference in the world. And being vulnerable and putting yourself out there and telling your team, I screwed up, and it's okay. I'm telling you that I screwed up because I don't want you to screw up, because I don't want the people that are joining you to screw up, right? So really it's all about relationships, because if you can build that circle of trust, nothing will break it. And I'm telling you, I've got people on my team that are silvers, that have been a silver since November of 2013 that are still with me. Why? Because of their relationships. Why? Because nowhere else on earth do they feel this good about themselves, because everywhere else people are tearing each other down, but not here, right? Not in our team, not in this place. They feel good about themselves here. And let me tell you, if you can get your teammate to silver, to where their products are being offset, if you could do that at minimum, they're gonna stay. Even if they're not a Sharon rock star, it's okay. I've got a team full of silvers. I love my silvers. They're amazing. They just haven't found the belief yet.
Yeah. And I think that goes into the whole level of, what is it?
The law,
three.
the law of the lid.
A law of the lid, but the threes, like
the
three.
Yeah. The power of three.
Right. So rule of
but
three.
I think
right.
the power of three a lot of times is caused by the law of the lid. They don't feel like they can attract these people. They don't feel good enough about themselves. Oh, I could never attract her. She's the PTO president. I could never talk to that person. Right. So what am I doing? I'm putting myself down. I've taken myself down to this level. I'm not good enough. I'm not as good as this person's. I'm not going to talk to them. I'm not going to tell them about my opportunity because surely they will never join me because I'm a loser. Who am I to them, right? I'm just a stay-at-home mom. I don't do anything. Why would somebody like that want to join me? They're successful. I'm not, right? All these things play through our heads, and then we stop ourselves before we ever even get started. That truly stops the power of three right there. If you posture yourself in a way that you are confident and you know what you're talking about, even if you don't, if you convince yourself you know what you're saying, people are going to buy in. They're going to believe you. Katie was amazing at that in the beginning. Man, she was like, I mean, you all know Katie. Katie's got the energy. She's like on a roll, go, 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 right? And Katie's like, come on, let's do this, guys. Like Katie, like me from the very beginning, she didn't know what she was doing day one. But man, she believed she could do it. And guess what? She did. I believed I could do it from day one. Again, I didn't know what I was doing, but I did because I postured myself. People believe in your beliefs. If you believe in yourself, people are going to believe in you. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in the products, if you don't believe in this company, you got to find that belief before people join you, because they're not going to join a loser, like John Maxwell says.
And and honestly, your team has created a culture of helping and chipping in. And so to our team, which is part of everyone's team, Goal Diggers is such an amazing resource for all of us. And I mean, those girls really, the jewels all pour their heart and soul into those Monday calls. And, Erin said something to me today. She's like, if the leader doesn't go to the calls, no one else goes to the calls. And it's so true. And so I know that I heard the message, and I will make sure that I make the calls when they happen. So, and I think that is kind of a resounding message here, is that, showing up, caring, being available and, passionate is really the science behind success.
It's really not rocket science. It's relationships. It's being there for one another. It really, really, truly is. Going back to the being on the calls, we've always had a saying back in the beginning: those that show up, go up. I mean, it is simple, but it's true. Those that show up, go up. If you are interactive in the team pages, if you're encouraging people, if you're on the calls, you are creating a culture. You're a part of that culture, and people are going to do it back for you and with you. And so when you are welcoming people, when you are congratulating people when they rank up, when you are commenting on their posts, it creates a culture, it creates a relationship. And I think that that's the one thing that I am more proud of than anything with our team, is the culture that we've created and the non-tolerance for cheating. I think, I think that there's a lot of ways around this business. There's a lot of ways that you can do things the wrong way, and it's not going to get you there faster. A lot of people buy people and do, all kinds of crazy things, create accounts. Like, first of all, how people even think of this stuff blows my mind, right? So I'm bringing it up because you have to recognize that if you're cheating, if you create and not saying anybody on this team does, but if you create a culture where you start doing something like that, everybody behind you is going to start doing it. So people duplicate you. They're watching you. They're watching your activity. What are you doing? Are you leading this business ethically? Are you being a producer? Are you signing people? Are you consistent with your products? Whatever you're doing, your team is doing. The speed of the leader is the speed of the team. And I will tell you right now, before we started Goal Diggers and I had the other group, times in life, there are times when times get tough in your life and personal situations happen. Man, when I slow down, productivity way down. And it doesn't just affect today and this month, it affects the next 3. The trickle down is unbelievable because everybody has stopped that momentum. And so when you are going, you have to think about that. It's not just about you, it's about who you are bringing with you. And that's what this journey is all about. I have never, since day one, thought about myself in this journey. It has always been, how am I going to get the people behind me that have joined me to silver? How are we going to do this together? How am I going to get them to gold with me? How am I going to get them to ruby with me? The minute you start focusing up or on yourself is the minute you're going to come dead stop in the water, because your success depends on the people that you have join you. And so if you're focusing down and bringing them up with you, you'll have so much success in this business.
True. I love that. I love that when John was talking about, when he has people come to him and say, I want leaders. Like, John, I just want some leaders on my team,
Yeah.
And then he turns it right back on them and says, are you a leader? What do you do to deserve leaders on your team? And I think that, probably everyone sitting in that room was evaluating what we do on a daily basis. And you've kind of touched on a lot of that. It's really, if we want leaders, if we want our team to succeed, we have to be the number one. We have to show and lead the way. It's just,
and I think the other thing that's important to say is, because Erin and I were just talking about this morning, in fact, we all say, oh, I want leaders on my team. Like, where do I find more of me? Where do I find more Erin O'Keefe's? Where do I find more Katie Driscoll's? The bottom line is this. When Candy Mernan signed me, I didn't want a business. I wanted a wholesale. When you joined after 3 years of me telling you about Plexus and you commenting and congratulating me because you've always been a cheerleader, but when you joined me after 3 years, you're like, nah, I don't have time for the business. I'm not doing this business thing. So while we want to be looking for and attracting a certain type of person or leader, bottom line is we never know what that person is going to be or what they're going to turn out to be. 9 times out of 10, when I've signed somebody and I'm like, oh yeah, got my rock star, woo! Next month, they turn their account off. It's the people that I don't know that I'm like, so the point is you have to invest in everyone. You can't just go, ooh, got my rock star, man, I'm going to pour into this one. She's going to be awesome, because you don't know. I didn't know Katie was going to be the rock star she is. In fact, she told me she didn't want the business. She told me, I don't want any of that. I'm going to sign as a customer, blah, blah. It took her about 4 days to realize she wanted the business. But had I not encouraged her the way that I did, who knows what would have happened, right? And some people take off running like Katie did. Other people need a little bit more poking, prodding, encouraging, pulling along. But don't discount people from the beginning is what I'm saying. Or don't think, oh, well, that person's definitely a leader, so I have to attract them. Sign people, get them in, share with them how to get to silver, power of 3. If you can get them to silver in their first month, I promise you that person's going to stick around. You're going to have a Plexus lifer.
Love it.
Doesn't matter who they are, even if they told
Go ahead,
you.
Diane. Ask questions. Yeah, I want to open this up, definitely. Go ahead.
It's not actually a question, but we've been trying to get Linda into Gold Diggers, and for some reason, like I added her name this morning, and it's not approved, but then it's not even pending. Like I could re-add her again now. There's some kind of glitch.
Really? All right, hold on.
Yeah.
I'm going to go on right now.
Okay, so I'm going to add her name again.
Okay.
And it's a pending approval, but she just never gets approved.
Boom, done.
Thank you, friend.
You're welcome.
Okay.
That's weird.
You're in, Linda. You're in.
What was that?
You're in.
Awesome. So
Now
who's
you're in
got
our secret
questions for
society.
Amy? Seriously, who's got questions? Ask her anything. She's a wealth of knowledge.
And a wealth of mistakes.
Okay, so I do have a question, Amy. When, obviously you joined under Candy. And then did she have something set up like Gold Diggers that you jumped into and then later broke away? Like how did that, what happened?
So she has Team Plexi. So she has Team Plexi. I'm still in Team Plexi. Yeah, I mean, I think that we've kind of, the way that we've kind of shifted it now, we've kind of condensed and changed a lot. And Candy had the opportunity to join with us if she wanted to, but Team Plexi's got its own culture going on, so it's a good place to have. But I think at the time when I started Queen P, that was before Gold Diggers, I think I started it around Senior Gold or Ruby. And I think that while we have Gold Diggers, while you have, Plexus Inspiration, I think it's still good to have a place. In fact, I shut mine down, but I'm going to be redoing something. It's good to have a smaller place, right? It's good to have a place that's maybe just your level ones, where people have, I see a little boy in the background. Mm-hmm. It's good to have a place for people to go, hey, Luke. Hey, bud. I love your tie-dye shirt, man.
Can you say hi, Amy?
Hey, Amy.
Hey, dude. What's up? You are handsome.
This is his nightly moment to tell me he has to poop.
Awesome.
But I'm gonna tell Daddy he's in charge.
So I think that it's good to always be connected with your level ones. So if you can have a group that has just your level ones, that's great. I've kind of always felt the more team groups that you can be a part of and be connected to, the better. It's more people that you can be connected with. It's more excitement that can be happening. And it's also more leadership. One of the biggest things that I have recognized from day one is my leadership style may not work for you. And I'm okay with that. My job as a leader is to get you connected to people that you can follow, that you can relate to, that you do want to aspire to be or want to be like. And so the more groups and such that you're in and a part of, the more opportunity you have for that, I think. You also don't want to oversaturate yourself in groups. But I think, when I joined, I was in Candy's group, Jana's group. Above Jana is Lisa McKeever. I was in Lisa McKeever's group. Who was in Stacy and Stephanie Hodge. They had a group together. The reason that we formed Gold Diggers, honestly, is so that we could provide our team with the best of us. Because what happens when you hit higher ranks is you've created such a huge team at that point in time that you've got so many people relying on you. And there's like a little joke that says the loneliest place to be is a diamond's level one, but it's kind of true because as a diamond, we're helping so many people that our level ones don't always get the best of us and the most of us. So by coming together and forming that big group, we've really consolidated and we're able to help each other out and fill in the gaps and give you the best of us, of all of us combined. So if your question is like, should we start groups? I think that's up to the individual. My question would be, what do you have to add value to those people if you're starting a group? That would be my only question. So, and that's not directed towards you, like in any way.
No, that helps. That helps because I've had a few people in my personal downline that are a little overwhelmed with the fact that they're in. We have Plexus Inspiration, the Leaders Group, and then Gold Diggers. And I'm not, I don't have another one out there that they're in. I was just curious, like how you personally started. So you had joined Candy's, like I've joined Katie's.
Yeah.
And then, now you have, because you're huge. So then you can move over and do your own thing.
Yeah, I started my own thing around Senior Gold and kept that until, when did we form Gold Diggers? Like spring?
Okay, but then you got rid of that group, right?
My little group is gone.
Okay, yeah. I just don't want it to be too many for people to feel.
I got rid of my group simply because I didn't feel like my leadership within that group was the level that my team deserved. And I honestly wasn't as active in it as I should have been. And Gold Diggers is just a place where we can all add our strengths to, and it's consolidated voice. So, and the way that we're handling that is pretty much anybody that is an emerald or above on the team is a leader in the team and is posting in there.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And I do like the, the senior gold or gold level of creating something yourself too, just because you feel like you can kind of become, especially when you're an emerging leader, it gives you that place to lead,
Yeah, I think it's up to the person. I think some don't ever want to do that, and that's okay.
Right. If you want to, I should say.
Yeah, if you want to. And I think it's also okay for, I think that we have to recognize, again, going back to relationships, that some people don't want to be a part of all these groups.
Right.
Where are they served the best? And define that location and have them be there, whether it be Gold Diggers or Plexus Inspiration or, whatever it is. The bottom line is people just need to be receiving the messages that are out there and using the information for improving their business.
Yeah.
Hey, Amy, it's Sheila.
Yeah.
I have a question. So I work in a friendly but kind of corporate office environment, and I see Plex as being able to help so many people, but there's kind of this etiquette there, like you keep your personal stuff at outside of the office.
Mm-hmm.
Any advice on sharing Plexus with people in a work office environment?
Yeah, that's a great question. Rick had that, and in fact still has that. So for people that are in a corporate role, I usually suggest taking the approach of, so with Rick, he just can't come out and tell you about Plexus, right? He can't solicit you. But if you were to ask him, he could answer questions, right? Is it like that where you are?
Yes.
Okay. So you best believe every day I'd be making my pink drink in whatever meeting. I would.
I love it.
Right?
Perfect. Okay.
If people aren't asking you day one, by like day 5, people are going to be like, what do you have there? What's that stuff? Right? And then the key is you've got to be ready to come back with a good response. And this is where I failed miserably in my business too. I was very, very awful at puking Plexus, I call it. There's nothing that turns people away more than being a used car salesman about our products, right? So think of yourself, if you were on the receiving end, not knowing anything about Plexus, not knowing anything that it does, and I'm seeing you drink your pink drink, and I say to you, hey, what is that stuff? And you go, Sheila, what is that? Oh my gosh, Amy, this stuff is, it's Plexus. You've never heard of it? No, it's a health and wellness company. It's natural product. This has chromium in it. It's made with green plants. It's sweetened with stevia. And I'm just rattling off everything I know about Plexus Slim. And the person is like, what? Like, you lost me, right? Instead, when people say to you, what is that stuff? You say, oh, it's a pink drink. Have you ever heard of it? Well, no, I haven't. Yeah, Plexus Slim. You've never heard of Plexus? No. It's changing my life. That's it. Because guess what? They're going to say to you, well, how's it doing that? Right? They're going to ask you something. Or if they don't, you're going to say, and here's how. But I've never had somebody not say to me, how's it changing your life? Like they all do. They go, well, what? What do you mean? Now I've gotten to a point where I say, it changed my life, right? Changed my life. Well, how did it change your life? My health, my family's health, my financial freedom all changed because of this little pink packet. You want to keep giving little nuggets, the same as you would volley a conversation. The minute you go to tell people blah, 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 all this stuff, if it sounds like too much in your head, imagine what they're thinking, right? So you need to just think, okay, I want to have a conversation with them. I want this to volley back and forth because I want this to go somewhere.
Got it.
You want to engage. You want them to be able to ask you the questions and you answer them instead of you just giving them all the Plexus knowledge that you have.
All right. No Plexus vomiting. Got it.
Right.
Is it possible for you guys to post your reading list for beginner people on who to start reading?
Sure.
Thank
I'm
you.
happy to do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. I think honestly, I'm with Amy. The Eric Worre GoPro. I'll post it up. I think that is the perfect book for every person beginning. I love him anyway. Like, I love him. I love his energy. I love him.
All right.
Yeah, so I'll post that up for you.
And everyone's different. I do love Eric Worre. He got me my start in this business, but I always go back to 4 Colors network marketing just because I feel like unless we're attracting the right people. So it's, you know, it's always good to have a set of books, obviously. It's good to have your library because Eric doesn't touch on that relationship piece of it, you know, of knowing your audience as much as.
No, he's like more of like, yeah.
Eric Worre is more like bulldog, go.
Oh!
He's like out the door. We're going. We're taking this train. We're running through the brick wall. It doesn't matter. I'll get there. We're getting there.
True. Well, and what did John say? Momentum, guys. Everything is better in momentum. And he gave the example. He's been in Super Bowl locker rooms, you know, all over the place. And every winning locker room, there are no problems. Every losing locker room, there are tons of problems.
And there's excuses and all kinds of issues. Yeah, it's so true. Momentum really is everything. And that's why I made a point to say that it's a numbers game, because you'll hear so many people say, follow the 5-3-1 rule. Well, that's great. 5-3-1, in my opinion, is minimum. 5-3-1 is the minimum of what you should be doing to barely get by. If you're okay with barely getting by, then do the minimum. If you want to run, you know, if you're okay with being at silver or you just want to get to gold, look, not everybody wants to be a diamond. That's okay. We don't all have to be diamonds. I don't know who wouldn't want to be a diamond and make the money. I'm just saying. I mean, I didn't visualize myself as a diamond, though, in the beginning, right? So I couldn't picture that for myself. But if you are sitting there going, okay, I need to make $1,000 a month, you got to have a plan to get there.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Awesome. Anyone else? Questions? Well, this went a little long, so thank you, Amy, for this. And, you know, I'm super excited. We recorded this, so the rest of our team, we have so many new people that I'm excited for them to hear your story and hear your advice.
New people, listen. Don't complicate it. Just share. Be willing to be vulnerable. Do what your leaders are doing. Be vulnerable. Put yourself out there. Don't wait. Don't overcomplicate it. Don't feel like you need to know everything. Don't feel like you need to know every product, what the compensation plan is. I can tell you this is the truth. I didn't know how I got paid for the first 2 months, and I didn't care because my paycheck was pretty, and I sure as heck was not calling Tarl to ask him how I was getting paid.
Mm-hmm.
So don't complicate it. Just run.
Yep. And, you know, once you guys watch the interview with Aaron and now you've, you know, listened to Amy, they are 2 different complete persons. I mean, you'll hear it in the interview. They are like black and white. And guess what? They're both diamonds. Yeah. So, but the resounding thing was, and I said, you know, I think that when the momentum slows down or hasn't started yet, we often try to dissect what we're doing when really at the end of the day, just reach out and share Plexus. If you love Plexus, share it because you're going to change somebody's life and you're going to change your own.
I think that's a huge point. You know, in the beginning, I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't know that I was doing it wrong, right? So it wasn't stopping me. Right. I wasn't overanalyzing what I was doing. We didn't have these calls. We didn't have all these things telling me what to do and how to do it. I was just doing it.
Right.
So don't get yourself in your own head and overcomplicate it. Believe you can. Go out there. Reach out to people. If they say no, fine, move on. Come back. but move on, right? They're not your only person. Keep moving.
Keep moving.
Keep moving. Momentum is key.
Go ahead, Linda. You have a question? I thought you were raising your hand. Okay, awesome, guys. Well, that was a great call. Thank you so much. And, you know, Amy is available. She's wonderful about that. You know, if you ever did want to reach up and ask her, pick her brain, she's great for that. So thank you, Amy.
I love you guys. You're
Have
an
a great
amazing
night.
team. I love you all.
Have a great night.
All right, you too. Bye, guys.